Hi, hello, my name is Ashuma and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I want to talk about the representation of black women and how a couple of days ago there was a VMAs, and during the VMAs there's always a red carpet, and during the red carpet Sukihana was invited and she had certain behaviors and showcased certain behaviors that other black women did not agree with, and it's been a big old controversial moment. I believe it was like crouching down and tricking the carpet and doing all sorts of other things, and her rebuttal to that is that they knew who I was before they invited me. The first thing I want to say and mention is that MTV, the VMAs, in fact, knew who Sukihana was before they invited her, right? So anybody that they're going to invite to this red carpet, they're probably going to do a check on. They're going to see what their fan base is like. They're going to see what they're about. And Sukihana, believe it or not, has actually been making some, a bit of a noise over the past couple of years. She's been slowly getting attention. I feel like she's gotten more attention from her adult content as opposed to her actual music, because I know for me, that's one of the first ways that I was introduced by her when it was all that scandal on social media of people seeing that video. I personally didn't want to see that video. I did not want that in my memory bank. That's just me personally. So I didn't go searching for that video, but I do know that there was a big scandal of her having an OnlyFans and certain things like that. So that was one of our first introductions to Sukihana, right? So if anything, VMAs was already aware of the type of person she was, and they still invited her, right? First, what I think we need to address is the fact that black women have only been able to profit off of their bodies within this century due to the fact that for a long time black women's bodies were commodified for chattel slavery. Chattel slavery, and what role does it have to play in the modern times of women being hypersexualized, specifically black women? Well, the thing is, during chattel slavery, black women were not seen as their own property, as their own agency, right? So when it came to their bodies, they were forced to breed with men that they did not want to breed, that they did not have romantic relations with or involvements with. They were not married, and also too, the men were also forced to breed along with these women, and they did not have any agency over when they wanted to have kids, how they wanted to have kids, or who they wanted to have kids with. So now we shift over to modern time, where we see that there has been these, social media platforms that are put out that is very much visually driven, where you get a lot of attention based on what it is that you post. And we see that there are a lot of women that are using their femininity and sexuality in regards to how they express it to obtain money. And so for me, what I feel like is I'm not going to judge a black woman. I'm not going to judge somebody within our demographic, knowing the history that our demographic had to go through when it comes to feeling like they can own their own body, have agency over their own body, and commodify and actually benefit from their own body for once. Personally, I know who I am and what I want to do and how I want to present myself, right? And I'm not going to allow or let somebody make me present myself differently than what it is that I want. I know that my femininity and my sexuality is not defined by what it is that I put on. And so everybody has a different way of representing themselves and how they want to be seen. And it is not my right to police someone else and say, oh, you need to act this way because you need to be a representation for me because you're making me, or quote unquote us, look bad, when what we need to let people know and let society know is that black women are not a monolith. We are not your property to bundle up into one group and say, oh, well, since this one is acting this way, this is how all of them are. No, not all black women are the same. And I'm not saying this to make it seem like as if I'm higher than thou. I'm not higher than thou than anybody else, and I will never go and come on here and try to bring down another black woman just to quote unquote make myself look better. No, not at all. But what I am saying is we need to leave room and space, and we need to advocate for ourselves that we are not a monolith. Just like every white woman is not going to be the same, every white man is not going to be the same. It's the same thing. You cannot expect somebody who was raised in LA to be the same way as somebody who was raised down in the South. You cannot expect somebody that was raised in Montana to be the same way that, if they were raised in Texas or Florida. There's different regional differences. Everybody has a different background, and therefore is going to shape how it is that they show up in the world. one thing I want to bring up, and just to show you the difference in how, you know, the rest of society and even the Black community itself is in fact one of our biggest problems and issues. Did you see white women go up in an uproar and make think pieces on Kim Kardashian when she released that tape with Ray J? Did you see them hoop and holler and say that, you know, all Black people or, you know, or all other races are going to see us as this one way because Kim Kardashian decided to do what she did with, you know, Ray J on that tape? So that's the thing for me. So why is it when one Black woman does something, the rest of Black women are quick to hoop and holler and say, oh, this is going to make us look bad, as if every Black woman or Black woman is supposed to have the same ideology and cater to what the rest of society thinks? So let me just give you this list. We have Viola Davis, Kerry Washington, Lupita Nyong'o, Gabrielle Union, Taraji P. Henson, Regina King, Jada Pinkett Smith, Megan Good, Tracee Ellis Ross, Beyonce, Nia Long, Tika Sumpter. We have Solange Knowles. We have Regina Hall. We have Issa Rae. We have Keke Palmer. We have Diana Ross. We have Gina Torres. We have Loretta Devine. We have Marsha Martin. We have Cynthia Erivo. We have Danielle Brooks. And I can go on and on and on and on and on. The point that I'm trying to prove is that Black women are not a monolith, right? Especially when it comes to the entertainment world as well. Not every Black woman in the entertainment world is like Sukihana. They are not like Sexyy Red. So I'm confused as to every time that Sukihana and Sexyy Red decides to do something, it is automatically this very much anxious tension within social media about how the rest of society is going to see Black women, when not every Black woman is the same. And the question that needs to be asked truly is, why is it that when other races do certain things, for example, like the Kim Kardashians or, you know, other white women who have been hypersexual, who have actually had adult film, and mind you, this is something, sex is not something that only belongs to the Black community. It is a very human thing. So for me, it's very confusing that it is always seen as if one Black woman that is within media is going to represent us all. We are not a monolith. If this person does this, it does not mean that the next Black woman you meet is going to be the same way. We have had to fight for the agency of our bodies. We have had to literally blood, sweat, and tears in gaining our own freedom and the agency to our bodies. And so when it comes to now that we think that one person is going to destroy and take away all of the strive that all of these hardworking Black women have put their blood, sweat, and tears into doing, it is very disheartening. The question and thing that needs to be fixed is that the media needs to not make it a huge thing or a big deal when one Black woman or a sector of Black women decides to do something. And I will be honest with you, I didn't see a white media covering the Sukihana. I did not see that. All I saw was Black media that, oh, Sukihana is not doing this. Oh, you know, Sukihana. The issue is, when we have an issue with somebody within our community, what we go do is we plaster it all around social media, we make it a big deal, we put a magnifying glass on it, and now all it seems like, oh, look at all the Blacks fighting over it. Like, y'all, do y'all realize that when it comes to these situations, we are making it a bigger issue by constantly reposting this stuff, and not, like, the news cycle is 3 days, y'all. The news cycle is 3 days. It takes 3 days for something to die in the news cycle. I do think that this is a, you know, hypened up version of Sukihana, that she puts it up for the cameras and does it up, you know, for the camera, because that is one of the ways that she does advertise herself and the way that she is able to, you know, garner attention. Now, is it good or bad? Listen, that's not for me to say. I personally don't care, because honestly, I be finding her funny because I just see it as all as an act. And I know some people are like, oh no, you can't take these things as an act, you need to take it seriously. I really think that Sukihana is smarter than people point her out to be. Now, you know, would I say she's some, you know, Harvard intellectual? No. But what I'm saying is, I think that Sukihana is more cognizant of what she's doing than you guys realize, and that even though, yes, it does play into what is called a hood fabulous or a ghetto ignorant, quote unquote, fabulous aesthetic, I personally would not want to be in a world who did not have the Sukihanas in regards to the personality type. I have had the chance of experiencing a lot of different people from a lot of different backgrounds in regards to friendships, business wise, and all that stuff. And there is space and room for people like Sukihana. I truly think that it's just that people have a problem with Sukihana because as a whole, the demographic of black women are afraid of what other races are going to think about us, when in reality, when you look at all these other races, they too have Sukihanas. They too have Sexyy Reds. It is just done in a different way or seen in a different way based on their cultural aspects and cultural acceptances. This plays into a lot of respectability politics, and I genuinely think instead of black women keep on telling other black women on how to behave and how to act and how to be, and basically having this campaign of shaming other black women and how to quote unquote present themselves because the white folks are going to look at us a certain way, I genuinely think it's time for us to advocate for the acceptance of different other types of black women within spaces. Not every black woman are the same, and every time I hear somebody say, you know what, these women are out here acting like this and they're gonna make us look bad, that is literally saying that you are erasing all of the hard work of the other previous black women that have put in the work to basically push the demographic in the future forward. Like, there are so many people throughout history that have, done a lot for this demographic and paid so much, like blood, sweat, and tears into making it, a better environment, a better place for other and newer generations of black women, that when you say that one person such as Sukihana is going to erase all of that, that is diminishing all of the hard work that they have put in. You know what I mean? And what you guys don't realize is, I know this is hard for you to wrap, for some people. I'm not gonna say y'all. This is gonna be hard to wrap, your own perception and thoughts around. What if I told you that, Sabrina the Truth died for people like Sukihana too? Harriet Tubman risked her life so that Sukihana could exist too. And that's what I'm gonna say, because I think this conversation is so stupid. I think that the black media needs to stop magnifying the women that are showcasing these behaviors if it is an issue for the community, and start actually uplifting and showcasing and giving resources and providing spaces for women to quote unquote improve themselves and find other ways and avenues to feed their family. So I'm just gonna leave it at that. But tell me your thoughts about it. Tell me your perspective. And I will say this: Sukihana does not speak for me. Sukihana does not represent me. Sexyy Red does not speak for me. And Sexyy Red does not represent me, just in the same way that I do not represent them, because as black people, as individuals, as human beings, we are allowed to express ourselves in different ways. And if you have a problem with the way she expresses herself, stop looking at it. Stop looking at it and start looking at and praising the women that are actually doing the things that you like. There's Michelle Obama. There's Oprah, like I said. There's Beyonce. There's the Kiki, Palmers. There's the Regina Halls. There's all these women that are breaking glass ceilings and making so much progress. But all that black media wants to focus on is the ratchetness. So, of course, when other people look into black media and all they see is the ratchetness being personified and magnified by the media, what do you think they're going to expect? So is it the media choosing what it is that they want to portray of black women and magnify of black women, or is it the black women that are the problem themselves? I don't know, just some food for thought. And also too, have I realized or that there is a possibility that these women that are hypersexual have had a lot of sexual trauma happen to them as kids as well, and then they have become super promiscuous based on their upbringing? I'm just saying, there's so many layers and factors that can go into this. There are stats right now that state that a lot, by a certain age, at least 30+% of black women have been R-worded or M-worded. There's so many different layers that can go into this conversation, but that's where I'm going to stop. Tell me what you think about it. What's the perspective?
Monkey.